Good afternoon, and thank you all for coming. Welcome to our Game 8 press conference as we preview the upcoming game at Arkansas State, which will kick at 7 p.m. Eastern on Saturday at Centennial Bank Stadium in Jonesboro. The game will be carried on ESPN+. Today we have head coach Clay Helton, along with offensive lineman Chance Carroll and linebacker Brandon Tyson. Coach Helton will open us up with a statement, and then he'll take questions. We ask that you please use the wireless mic so our audience watching online can hear the questions. With that, Coach Helton, can you get us started?
Yeah, thank you all for being here. Obviously, a really good rivalry football game. Electric crowd, fourth largest in school history, and thankful to Eagle Nation for showing up and being so electric and really carrying us through a really competitive game. I thought the first half, when you go back and look at the film, I thought both teams played extremely hard. Credit to Dell's kids. I thought they really played their guts out the entire game. I thought the difference in the game really was the efficiency of our offense. Was probably the most efficient game that we've played offensively as far as third down conversions at 69%, and really in a game that didn't have a ton of opportunities, only 8 drive opportunities. You score out of 7 out of the 8, and there were some key plays in that game that I think really swung the game. One, I thought the momentum of being able to get some momentum back right before half in that 2-minute drive, and Tripp coming up with a big field goal there, carrying momentum in, and then getting out on downs in that first drive by Georgia State, allowing us to have great field position and being able to score on that, started to create the separation that we needed. In that second half, to create a turnover and 2 drive stops were really the key to be able to have a 17-point victory. So good team win. Obviously, we turn the page now, going to Arkansas State, going to Jonesboro, that is playing good football right now, coming off of 2 wins. Obviously, a Butch Jones coach team. He's been doing it 16 years. Got a lot of respect for Coach. Anybody that's won 106 games knows how to do it. A place that we've never won before. And so going to their place on homecoming and having an opportunity to scratch and claw for another conference victory and try to go 1-0 on the week. So with that, I'll take any questions you have.
Coach, that fourth quarter was the best football for the team so far this season. What changed? What might have been the biggest difference, and how can the team carry that consistency into this coming road trip?
Yeah, great observation. Really the last 5 games, I go back and look at, I always try to look at, how we're operating within each corner. We've been a great finish team. You look at our defense, the last 5 games, a total of 3 points have been given up in the fourth quarter over the last five games. And then offensively, I think back over these last 5, and you think about how we've operated efficiently in those fourth quarters offensively. 21-0 in this game, which really created the separation that we needed. I thought JC played some of his best football in this game, really making the right decisions. Decision makings were key. He pulled the ball down. We saw a lot of 2-man coverages where anytime that you see that, you're seeing defenders run with the receivers, and their eyes are blind to the quarterback. And JC saw that. That's always one of our progressions. And so to have 80 yards on the night rushing, I thought was key in that. And then, when it came to that fourth quarter and you get up 2 scores and you got to go finish it with that last drive, and everybody in the park knows that you're going to run the ball, the offensive line led the way along with OJ and David Mbadinga. I thought they really finished the game right for us and created that last touchdown running the ball.
Coach, despite trailing for 3 of those 4 quarters, it seemed like the team was right there. It was always 4 points or so. When you talk about playing for a full 4 quarters, do you think this is maybe the closest game that you've had to that?
Yeah, I thought that was really important. Like I said before, we get up in the third. The last drive of the second and our first drive of the third quarter were key. Those moments. You get the momentum drive, 49 seconds on the clock. You put together a really good 2-minute drive, cut it to 17-13. You get the drive stop right off the first drive, and then you take the lead off that drive stop, in the third quarter. They get a nice touchdown, their only score of the second half, and then you go 21-0 from that point on. So this was a game that I thought we made good adjustments defensively after the first half. I thought offensively just operating, you go 7 of 8 on the day. The punter doesn't take the field. That's a good offensive day. And it was needed. It was one of those days that I thought their quarterback Cam played a really, really good football game. In his first start, carried a chip on his shoulder, made good decisions, and we made just enough plays to go win a 17-point game. So yeah, good, very good win. And hopefully, anytime you play rivalry games and you get a 17-point win, you feel pretty good about it.
Now you head back on the road, place that you guys are still looking for that first win.
Mm-hmm.
So far, you're averaging 40.5 points a game at home, 10 points on the road. What has been the biggest difference you think it has been, and what needs to change this week?
Yeah, and probably the biggest hasn't been the home or the away, it's really been the run game, to be honest with you. Obviously Paulson is we love playing here. We've got to find that away rhythm that we find in Paulson, but it's really been about the run game. We've won every game that we've rushed the ball 200 yards or more, we've won the game. And so when that is clicking and you take the pressure off the quarterback to be not to be perfect throughout the game, it helps and it provides some advantage coverages. I mean, people have found out that Cam Brown and Marcus Sanders and Dalen Cobb can really play. And so they're doubling them. Well, I think we only got like 3 one-on-one opportunities to Cam in that game the other night, and he cut 2 touchdowns in 2 of the 3 opportunities. And so it's going to be really important to keep that run game going, especially on the road. You always talk about pack your defense, pack your run game, and pack great special teams when you go on the road, especially a place like Jonesboro, Arkansas, that's tough to play in.
Coach, you talked about J.C. French and the game he had. He led you in passing, obviously, but he also led you in rushing. First time he's done that this year. Any concerns there about having a quarterback that, leading you in rushing to, maybe exposure to maybe unnecessary hits?
Yeah, it was needed in that game. We always talk about that when a team is in man coverage, running becomes part of your progression as a quarterback. That's what you teach the quarterback, especially in too high man coverage. You can go, as the defender is covering his man, his eyes are blind to the quarterback. And so the quarterback's got to be able to see that and take advantage of that. And JC did. 0 turnovers on the day. That's what was needed to win this game. I thought he made great decisions with his legs. It's one of those games. The other thing he did really good, we talk about sometimes you get 80 yards rushing and you say, well, where's the running back in that? You got to remember that OJ had 167 total yards too, 80 in receptions. He checked the ball down really well and got the ball to him in 2 hot situations that created explosive plays, 2 40-yard catches that were thrown basically 5 yards down the field, but because it was hot and because he was open, he was able to take it 40. So I thought JC played with a chip on his shoulder. He carried that all week. We lost a tough game at Southern Miss, 38-35, where he didn't have his best ball in the first half, played lights out in the second. He carried that momentum into this game, and I thought he played like a quarterback should play. He did the things that were needed to win the football game.
And turning your attention now to Arkansas State, I think they give up 24 points a game in conference, 20. They're scoring 20. Are you expecting kind of a low-scoring game when you go to Jonesboro?
I look at that, but, you look at their quarterback, Jalen Raylor, and I'm really impressed with the young man. I mean, anytime that you open the stat sheet and he's the leading rusher at 272 yards, total for the year, and he's thrown 9 touchdowns, that's a dual-threat athlete that you turn on the tape and he's electric. And they did. They scored 31 points 2 games ago against a really good Texas State team and had a huge win. Last week they found a way to win at South Alabama. That is not an easy place to play. We faced that last year, and we know how hard it is there. So, they're just like us. They're fighting, they're clawing, they're scratching. Their kids are playing really hard to get that next win, and both of us just came off a huge win, and now it's about both of us are trying to fight like heck to get back to even 4-4 and get that next conference win on a homecoming game for them. So, very important game for both teams.
Coach, you knew Favo Chaney would be challenged going up in Chance Gamble's absence. What did you see from him, and how do you feel like his play really probably built some confidence moving forward into the rest of the season?
Yeah, we always talk about, you never know when your time's going to come, and we always believe the best player's got to play. Even if you're a true freshman, doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter how old you are. If you're the best player, you're walking out there. And 2 guys they kind of tag teamed and traded off between Jakari Brown and Favo Chaney. They each have had really stellar games, and they're both going to need to do that. Both of them have been switching off for us force to be able to come in. Fabo had the hot hand in this last game, played with a lot of confidence in this game. Was able to scoop up a turnover, makes a huge play at the end of the game out on downs. So we're going to need that style of play. There's not too many chance gambles out there in our conference, and these guys are trying to fill in that production, and they're doing it nicely. You got a freshman and a redshirt freshman out there that are playing at a high level, and that combination has really helped us.
Moving ahead into the trip to Arkansas State, Ryan Applin, offensive coordinator, two-time Sun Belt Player of the Year for the Red Wolves. How have you seen him kind of handle the emotions moving forward into this week?
Yeah, I don't know if it's hit him yet. We turn the page so fast at game planning. It'll probably hit him when he gets there. App has meant so much not only for Arkansas State but for this league. How he represents himself as not only a player when he played but now a coach. He's been an important part of the success of this league, and I know he means a lot to Jonesboro. I know Jonesboro means a lot to him and his alma mater. It took the greatest recruiting job ever, I think, between me and Coach Ellis to be able to acquire him here. And he's just been a godsend for us and continues to grow as a coordinator. I know there'll be some emotions going back, but the last 2 days he's been in a dark room for about 24 hours a day trying to figure out a great game plan. So I think the first time he may see light is in Jonesboro. So he'll have a good time with it.
Coach, the past 2 games for Arkansas State, they've won by a single point. You talk about the importance of closing games. How do you assess the way that they've been playing, what you guys might have to do differently?
Yeah, you look at the quarters where they thrive, and the fourth quarter is one of those quarters. They've played really good ball, kind of like we have down the stretch, and you're going to be able to show your football team that this is a team that never says die. And that's typical of a Butch Jones team. They're always extremely well coached. They always give extreme effort, and they've been executing really well down the stretch. You look at those fourth quarters, and everybody's found a way to win, whether it's creating a turnover, whether it's a great offensive play. That they're finding ways to win those close games, and that's this league. You look up every week, and it's about 2 to 3 plays that somebody wins a game because they made those 2 to 3 plays. The last 2 weeks, they've made them.
When you talk about battling highs and lows, obviously coming off a pretty big high and a lot of positives to take away from Saturday's game, but what jumped out on film for you to really kind of critique?
Yeah, it continues to, we need to get some drive stops. We found that in the second half, and we're doing a really nice job in the second half defensively. When you look at, I think we're only giving up 8 points, 8 points in the second half over the last 5 games, only 3 total points in the fourth quarter, and we're finding drive stops there. We need to do a better job the first half of creating. You go average 8 points in the second half. If you can match that in the first half, you're an elite defense. And so we've made tremendous adjustments defensively at halftime and playing good second half ball. We need to start fast in these games to try to create some early separation.
Checking in on the overall health of the team, are there any injury updates to give?
We were able to get a couple guys back. Deshaun Davis, came back for us and really had a stellar game, created some havoc of getting the quarterback off his spot, had 2 batted balls, which was great to have. Latrell Bullard, who has been nagged by a foot injury, was able to go in that game. That foot injury continues to linger, and so we're going to go ahead and do surgery on it, so he will not be available for the rest of the year. Gutsy performance by him. Played with pain, and it's gotten to the point where we need to go ahead and have that. But everybody else to this standpoint is questionable that was there. We'll put the injury report out Wednesday night, but those are the 2 I can tell you right now. Deshaun played well, felt good, could see him playing again, and then Latrell, played good, but it's still there and it's still nagging him. So we're going to go ahead and do the surgery. Because it's only 4 games, he will have another year because of it.
Any other questions?
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. Hail Southern.
Welcome back. Our first player is junior linebacker Brandon Tyson.
Brandon, just your thoughts on the win, pretty big win, homecoming. What was the defense able to do in that fourth quarter as you guys posted a shutout?
We were able to settle in. That's something that we've been trying to work on, obviously, throughout all the weeks. And throughout the losses, we've learned how to settle in, especially in the fourth quarter after we make all those adjustments, see about what the offense is trying to get into.
And Coach had even mentioned a stat where you guys, I believe, have only given up 3 points in the fourth quarter of this year. What's gone into finishing strong like that?
I think it's just the mindset as a whole. We're a real united group, so finishing strong is definitely one of our top of the list for us.
And then I guess with that, what's been the biggest difference in the first half? Like just trying to be able to start faster for you. You're able to finish strong. It's just a matter of starting now.
Now I feel like we just got to put it together. We slowly been getting there, so now it's at a point where now we need to put it together and do it.
With having yet to win a road game this season, is there anything different that you think this team needs to do this week in regard to preparing or overall mindset?
Different. I wouldn't say anything different. I feel like we need to just keep preparing how we've been doing, especially like this last game. We kind of showed that we can bounce back, and that's the team that we are. So.
You guys just got off of a huge homecoming game here, fourth largest crowd. Now you're going to go to Jonesboro where they're celebrating their homecoming, having yet to win a game there. How motivated is this team to go in there and disrupt some things and show that you guys can win on the road?
Really motivated. This is a great opportunity, especially with a great crowd like they're going to have there, and then with Coach App and all that. So, yeah, we look forward to it.
Just like I asked Coach Helton, obviously Fabo and Jakari have been challenged to step up in Chance's absence. What did you see from them Saturday, and how are you taking the opportunity to be a leader to kind of motivate them to step up and play well?
Well, those guys, they go to work every day. They're younger guys, but they know how to handle themselves as older players. They see us, how we operate, and they really honed in and did their job.
What have you seen on film from Arkansas State, and how do you think you guys match up to them, like defensively to their offense?
Offensively, they look like a pretty solid team. Quarterback is pretty good. I know that Coach Helton talked some about him. Running backs look pretty decent. Their O-line, I think that our D-line is going to get after them. So.
Brandon, your 2 best games this year have been on the road. You had the pick against Fresno. You had 11 tackles against USC. What's been key for you to bring your own juice when you're not inside Paulson Stadium?
I just kind of try to remain the same throughout everything, whether we're going somewhere or whether we're home. So I just like to stay stagnant.
I know Coach Bailey's been tinkering with the scheme these last couple of weeks. It's been a lot more of you and Brendan coming off the edge. You were after the quarterback a number of times against Georgia State. What's it been like for you to show that part of your game in addition to the 2 you being top 10 in the league in tackles?
It's really just a blessing that Coach Bailey believes in us to put us outside the box like that. You really don't see too many linebackers doing it in today's game, especially the trust that you have to put us out there on islands like that, basically. So, you know.
Any other questions? Thank you, Brandon.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Our final player today is senior offensive lineman Chance Carroll.
Chance, you guys put a bunch of rushing yards against Georgia State. How good does that feel to be able to, coach trust you guys and, kind of grind out the clock like that? And, well, not grind the clock, but grind for over 200 yards on the ground against Georgia State.
Yeah, it feels awesome, for them to put the trust in us and have the confidence in us to, go out there and dominate the line of scrimmage and get rushing yards. And JC did a great job, pulling the ball when he saw coverages that, we couldn't find anything in the routes, but he did a great job pulling the ball and getting yards and getting down. And, OJ and David, they did a great job, running the ball and, just finding the holes and sticking it in there.
When we talk about getting wins at home and still trying to get that first win on the road, the running attack has been the biggest key in that. Anytime that you guys have gone over 200 yards rushing, it's a win. How much, I guess, you guys know of that and trying to get to that number and really try to dominate up front?
Yeah, we know when we run the ball well, we're hard to beat, and it's the run game's been gradually getting better throughout the year. Sometimes it's not always perfect, but we know if we run the ball really well, it opens up the pass game, and when we're a balanced team, we're hard to stop, and I have full trust in our backs and our quarterback, get it done, and that's what we're striving for is 200 yards a game.
So far this season, you guys have yet to win a road game. What do you think might need to change to be able to get that done?
Just go out there and play with confidence, play freely. We won big road games last year, so we know how to do it. Biggest thing for us, establishing a run game, helping our, skilled players, find open gaps and let JC get them the ball. So we know how to do it. We're confident enough to do it. So we just got to put it all together this week.
It's going to be homecoming in Jonesboro. You guys just got off of your homecoming in front of the fourth largest crowd. How can you carry that same energy to that place, and then also knowing that you're going to go up against a gritty team who's won their past 2 games by just a single point?
Road games are tough, but, we're good enough to go out there and play. We're going to carry this momentum over. The fans were electric this week in Paulson, so I think we have good momentum right now. We're feeling good, but we can't get too comfortable. We need to stay confident, stay gritty, and get after them this weekend.
What are you seeing from Arkansas State defensively, especially up front?
They're good players. I haven't got to watch much today, but from what I've seen, I watched a little bit this morning, and they're pretty good up front, so that's all I can really say on them right now.
After the loss at Southern Miss, Coach said it's going to be a heck of a second half. And you guys start out, 1-0 the second half of your season. Has there been anything different that's changed since Southern Miss that you've noticed or seen?
And our biggest thing is from point A to point B, and we've taken that. If it's going into lifts or going into practice and even going into the game, main thing is you start it, you finish it, and we've been focused on starting fast and playing all 4 quarters. So that's been our biggest. I think that's been our biggest improvement so far.
Chance, playing center, you and Chandler don't get a whole lot of opportunity to pull. That's usually a guard and tackle thing, but it seems like these last couple of weeks you guys have been involved a lot more play side, opening things up for JC, for David, for OJ. What's it like as a center to be able to show your athleticism in a way that maybe other people wouldn't ordinarily see?
It's awesome. The center always doesn't always get to get out in the open field, and I think we both do a really good job of getting out there and sticking on blocks and finishing blocks, and it's great being able to show how athletic we are.
Watching offensive line, the way that you guys are on the field, I notice when you guys go into meeting rooms or off the field, you still sit in the order of the way that you play on the field. I don't know why that is, but it just seems to work out that way. How would you describe the relationship in an offensive line room that maybe makes it so unique from other position groups?
Well, playing offensive line is you got to have a relationship. You have to have chemistry. You guys all have to be on the same page. Even if the front changes and you can't talk anything or say anything and make a call, everyone's got to be on the same page. And having that chemistry throughout the room is awesome. And especially us being a veteran line up front, it just makes everything so much easier on us and on JC.
With you and Chandler being in the literal center of that offensive line, whether it's practice or a game, how much are you two communicating about what you see and if your eyes see what his doing and vice versa? Oh,
we're communicating after every drive, seeing what he's seeing, what I'm seeing. If one of us is in, we know the other one's watching. We're all picking up tendencies and seeing what they're doing, and we communicate a lot throughout the week and what we see. So it's awesome for me and him to be able to do that. It helps both of us out a lot. Especially, us are 2 veteran guys that have started a bunch of games. So,
Thank you, Chance.
thank y'all.